So I myself am a fan of the FNAF franchise. I've played most of the games, I know the gist of the lore, up until Game 7 at least. Once they got to the VR game, I kinda lost the trail there. And when I watched the movie for the first time, I rather enjoyed it, as a fan of FNAF. Of course, all of the animatronics look amazing, and it was super cool to see them come to life in such a satisfying way. All of the Easter eggs and homages were really fun to pick out, as my stupid monkey brain went, "Hey, I know that."
I clapped when I saw it.
And as a fan of game theory and film theory and all those channels, seeing Matt Pat's cameo where he came in and said the thing.
Some people say that, but you know, it's just a theory.
A food theory.
It filled my heart with so much glee. It was singing shitty covers of beloved classic rock songs.
Oh yeah! Them fat bottom girls!
But every subsequent time I've watched it, the filmmakers were clearly much more focused on satisfying the fans of the games, and to that end, I'd say they succeeded. However, I am a film critic. I have a letterboxd and everything. And as a film critic, what it seems that the filmmakers forgot to do was make a good film. The acting is bad. The scares are bad. The editing is serviceable at best. Bad at worst. The score may as well not be there. The cinematography is not there. And the writing... The best part of the writing, especially is Vanessa, probably the
what actually makes
me wonder if you could actually get rid of Vanessa
make it
entirely
nonsensical
with a little more grace. Only one line would not only be one that I heard and went, "Oh, that's actually pretty good." And I never once heard the Freddy laugh, not once. But let's go down that list. Everyone besides Hutcherson and Lillard actually just sound like they're reading from a script.
You know, pictures hold tremendous power for children.
If there was something to find, she would have found it. Now pay up.
I won't be caught dead wearing a cheap bag like this.
Elizabeth Lail, who plays Vanessa, isn't terrible by any means, but a lot of her deliveries are, much like the editing, passable to bad, but I don't really know if I can blame her all that much with the absolute crap that she was given to work with.
If he's there,
Who do I blame for that? Was that an actor choice? Was that written in the script? Did the director tell you to do that? Oh, I am simply too emotionally disturbed by this notion. Oh. Boo. Sorry if that caught you off guard. I just wanted to prepare you for exactly how scary this movie is. Even the jump scares mostly fall flat. There's really only one good one in the FNAF movie. Like, literally the only movie that not only would I expect there to be a ton of jump scares, but I would actually be okay with it. There's really only one good one. Like, how? How do you fuck that up in the FNAF movie? It's like not having tons of blood in your Mortal Kombat movie. But what a... But what about tension, you may ask? Well, the pacing and the editing would never allow for such a thing.
You serious?
Although the editing is fine throughout most of the movie, the times it doesn't work is when it matters the most. Like, there are multiple times in this movie where they attempt to do something with tension, but it ends up not working because of how quickly the scene goes by, how many cuts there are, what they decide to show. There's just no time for any tension to build. And it's not like I want a bunch of cheap jump scares in my horror movies. I prefer psychological / existential type terror, but again, this is the movie that you fill with jump scares, especially when you can't seem to do tension correctly. And if you can't do tension or jump scares correctly, what am I supposed to cling on to as scary in your horror movie when you literally do nothing scary correctly? Anyway, the scary and the editing sorta go hand in hand here, and I think I've said everything I can for now without spoilers, so moving on. The only good song in this movie was Five Nights at Freddy's by The Living Tombstone. None of the music was memorable. It's all generic bullshit that I could probably find in the YouTube audio library. Like I said, it may as well not be there. But you know, at least the stuff that is there works for the scene and at least tries to elevate it a bit. Firing shots at the cinematography now. You know, just because you have tripods doesn't mean you need to use them for every scene and every shot. Okay, no. But seriously, there were some cool shots, like that transition from the redness between the letters of the Freddy sign coming out of the redness of the not red thing. What, you couldn't find a red thing to transition? There's a red thing right there. I'm just saying that whenever I would use a transition like that, I would usually try to match the color that the whole screen would eventually be enveloped in. It helps to sell the transition, especially when there's no thematic purpose for it. This is a nitpick. I know that, okay? I know that. But I mean, come on, it's simple symmetry, right? If I'm transferring movement from one hand to another like this, it looks a little strange like that, doesn't it? It's way more visually appealing if I do it more like this, right?
Symmetry, my friend!
Okay, I'm done with this. When it comes to the writing, boy, without exaggeration, I think Five Nights at Freddy's might just be the worst written movie that exists. Like, it genuinely makes me wonder if they were trying to make it as nonsensical and contradictory as possible, because, I mean, that's the FNAF lore for you. Maybe it was an artistic choice. So if you're a fan of FNAF, trying to defend this film with all your might, well, there you go. I just gave you an excuse for the abhorrently shitty writing. You're welcome. But I don't buy it. The best part of the writing is probably the dialogue, and much like the editing again, that was serviceable at best, bad at worst. There is literally only one line. One. That I heard and went, oh, that's actually pretty good.
Made a mess. Sorry.
Yes! Like the literal mess that you just made with the papers, and the metaphorical mess that you might blame yourself for now that you found out that there's legal trouble over you. That's a good, thoughtful line. Yeah, good job, FNAF writers. You know what? You did it. You wrote a good line. You should be proud of it. You know, there's so many people, so many who said you couldn't do it, but here you are. Here you are with an honest-to-God good line of dialogue. Hell yeah.
Yeah!
Fuck, baby! That's what
Let's
Did it.
fucking
Good job.
go!
Believe it. I'm proud of you.
Well, that got out of hand. The story writing is fine, I guess. I mean, it's the FNAF lore, right? It's about a child murderer who stuffed his victims' bodies into animatronics that he created, leading to his victims possessing those animatronics and seeking revenge. What's not to get? No. The real issues are in everything else that you could possibly write for a movie. The characters are particularly egregious, especially Vanessa. What a useless character. You could actually get rid of Vanessa entirely, replace her with a little more William Afton, and the movie would not only be better, but it would make more sense. I mean, her motivations are all over the place. Like, they'll tell you through the dialogue of the character one thing, but then she'll act in a completely contradictory manner, and that happens throughout the entire film. Like, once all the stuff at the end starts being revealed and you kind of figure out where she lies in the greater scheme of everything, her character completely falls apart, and it's just so funny and so frustrating. But we'll talk about that in the spoiler video whenever that comes out. But the worst thing about this whole movie, and this still just drives me crazy every single time I think about it, they never once played the Freddy laugh. Not once. Honestly, there's only a few select things that I can say positively about it as a film. There was a few things that made me laugh. There was a couple shots of violence and gore that I thought were actually pretty impressive for a PG-13. Josh Hutcherson and Matthew Lillard are both actually pretty good. Lillard especially, and well, there's that one line.
Made a mess.
Yes! So that's something. But, you know, bottom line for this review, if you are a fan of FNAF and the lore, and you don't really care about the fundamentals of filmmaking, you'll probably like this. Maybe even love it. Hell, I enjoyed my first time watching it as a fan of FNAF. But if you enjoy well-made movies that put effort into the craft of filmmaking, you probably won't like this one. And you know what? Either way, who cares, right? Like, there are more important things in life than someone else's opinion of a silly, haunted animatronics movie. So just relax, take a deep breath, and remember that the sun is still going to eventually explode, ending all life on Earth forever.